You just picked a side. Maybe it was a jersey. Maybe it was a team at work, a phone brand, a group chat that split into two. You didn't debate it for long. Something older than logic made the choice for you. And the real answer for why is far stranger than loyalty or taste. Your brain was never built for strangers. For most of human history, everyone you saw in a day was either family or threat. There was no in-between. Your ancestors lived in small bands, and every face outside that circle carried risk. So your mind built a shortcut. Us, them, fast, automatic, almost instant. It still runs that shortcut today, even when nothing is at stake, even when the groups are meaningless. In 1954, a psychologist named Muzaffar Sharif wanted to see how fast that shortcut could fire. He took 22 boys, all strangers, to a summer camp at Robbers Cave State Park in Oklahoma. He split them into two groups before they ever met. One called themselves the Rattlers, the other the Eagles. For a week, each group didn't even know the other existed. Then Sheriff let them discover each other. Within days, the boys were trash-talking, then sabotaging campsites, then refusing to eat in the same hall. Counselors had to separate them before it became a real fight. What does that tell you about how thin the line really is? There was no real reason for the conflict. No history. Nothing anyone actually needed. Just a label. Rattler. Eagle. That was enough. Almost 20 years later, a psychologist named Henri Tajfel wanted to know how little it took to trigger this. He gathered teenage boys in Bristol, England, and had them guess the number of dots on a screen. Then he told them, arbitrarily, which group they belonged to. Overestimators. Underestimators. No shared history. No flag. Just a label from a coin flip task. Then he asked the boys to divide money between two other boys, one from their own group, one from the other. They didn't know either boy. They had no reason to favor anyone, and yet they did. Again and again, boys gave more to their own group. Sometimes they even chose to give their own group less, just to make sure the other group got even less. Tajfel called this the minimal group paradigm because it showed the minimum needed for tribal bias to appear. The minimum turned out to be almost nothing. Your brain still runs this exact program. It just has better hiding places now. It's why a stranger in your college's hoodie feels like family for a second. It's why an online community can feel like home within days. A researcher named Robin Dunbar studied primate brains and found that group size correlates with a brain region called the neocortex. For humans, that number lands around 150. Hunter-gatherer clans, army companies, your actual close circle today, even with thousands of followers online. Your brain was optimized for a world of maybe 150 people. Everyone else was an unknown, and unknowns were dangerous by default. Loyalty to your 150 wasn't a preference. It was survival. Now you live among 8 billion strangers, and your ancient brain still tries to sort them into two piles. Us, them. Why does something this small ever feel personal? Because your brain isn't measuring the size of the disagreement, it's measuring the group signal underneath it. Give it a label and a symbol, and loyalty engages automatically whether or not the group actually matters. But here's the twist Sheriff found almost by accident. After the Rattlers and Eagles nearly came to blows, he gave both groups a problem neither could solve alone. The camp's water supply failed, and both had to work together to fix it. Slowly, the hostility drained away. By the end, Rattlers and Eagles were eating together, some asking to stay friends. The same brains that turned strangers into enemies in a week turned enemies back into allies just as fast, once they shared one goal instead of two labels. Tribalism isn't a flaw you're stuck with forever. It's a switch. Divide people by label, and the program divides them. Give them one shared task, and the same program rebuilds the bridge. So the next time you feel that flicker of us versus them, over a jersey, a comment section, a team at work, remember what it actually is. It's not about the other side. It's a 20,000-year-old survival tool, still running in a world it was never built for. You didn't choose a side without even knowing it. Your ancestors chose it for you, and your brain has been quietly obeying ever since.